So when did that fire start?
I feel like the
Smaller.
last couple of years, it's really been, of course, I just started on the thyroid medicine like 3-4 months ago.
If you're on the if you're on the right dose of thyroid, you should be feeling the effects of your testosterone right now.
And I will be really honest, I let it ran out last month and I just got neglectful and haven't
Okay.
gone back.
Well, let me give you some motivation, okay? If you have a completely normal testosterone level, okay? If you are hypothyroid, whether it is because of your hormones, or vitamin A deficiency, or vitamin D deficiency, or deficiency of zinc, or selenium, if you have too much estrogen relative to progesterone, remember all of these have to be in balance together. It's not just testosterone. But if any of those things are out of balance, okay, or if you are too stressed out, so too little or too much cortisol can also make you be hypothyroid. All right? And if you don't have normal thyroid function, your body will not see the testosterone. I can dip you in testosterone and you still won't respond to it. Because thyroid is a more foundational hormone than testosterone is. Thyroid basically steps on the accelerator pedal and tells your cells, I want more out of you, make more energy, do more of what you're supposed to do. So if the cells are just kind of lazing around because they aren't getting that signal, because they're low on nutrients, because they don't have enough fish oil, because the thyroid hormones are low, because the thyroid receptors have been damaged by, toxins or by viruses, etc. If the cells aren't seeing adequate amount of thyroid stimulation, then they won't see the testosterone either. So that may be part of it. And when you go back, write this down, when you go back to your doctor's office, okay, have the doctor get a TSH, a free T4, a free T3, and a reverse T3. And the doctor is going to say, I don't usually get these. And you can say, it's okay, I read about it on the internet. And kind of bob your head back and forth. Okay. And hopefully, he'll say, well, okay, well, we can do that, but I don't know how to interpret it. It's okay. I'm working there's a place called Ask about thyroid. Okay, that's got recommendations, and I'm trying to see if this is going to help me in other ways, and see if they will get the labs for you.
I go to Robinhood Integrative Health.
Oh, they'll do it for you. They should be doing that for you.
Okay.
They should be doing all of that for you. Yeah. But you have to have adequate thyroid in order to be able to feel your testosterone. Have they done a testosterone level on you?
I don't think so.
Oh, you need testosterone.
But I'm not sure.
Are you on birth control or anything like that?
Yes.
You're on birth control pills?
Yes.
Yeah, pills, or patch or something.
Pills.
Okay, all right. That's a huge problem. Because what the pill does is it lowers your effective testosterone level. So you need to go in towards the end of your pill cycle, like the 3rd week that you're on the pills, and say, I need a testosterone drawn. Because birth control pills is a little bit complicated. What they do is they increase a binder protein that carries testosterone and estrogen around in the blood. It's called sex hormone binding globulin. All the birth control pills raise your sex hormone binding globulin. And the more sex hormone binding globulin you have floating around your blood, the less testosterone you have. The testosterone just sits on it and doesn't go off to the cell. So your free testosterone that's not sitting on sex hormone binding globulin is the only testosterone that your cells see. And that's why so many women, when they go on the birth control pills, acne clears up. That's why birth control pills are prescribed for women, to get rid of acne, because it's going to lower your testosterone level. So you probably will need some testosterone. And now you already know where to apply it and how to apply it. And he does a lot with bioidentical hormones, so he should give you some testosterone.
Okay.
Yeah. Just let him know, I want a testosterone level. You don't really need a progesterone level, you don't really need estrogen, because you've got chemicalized estrogens on board with the birth control pill. Some women also need to add a little bit of progesterone even though they're on the birth control pill, because progesterone is necessary for some women, but not that often for sex. For other things, yeah, but not for sex. Is that helpful? Yeah. Yes.
Is there a difference between the patch, the pills, or the creams? Is one more effective than the other when it comes to estrogen, progesterone, or testosterone?
Okay, so the only one that comes in a patch is estrogen. And it comes in a patch, it comes in gels, it comes in pills. In bioidentical forms, it comes in troches, creams that you can use vaginally. There's also Premarin, there's also Estrace that you can use, which are big pharma products that you can use vaginally. And then progesterone can either come in a cream or a troche or a pill. There are progesterone pills made by big pharma. And testosterone really is not available for women. Okay, what you have to do is you have to sweet talk your physician and say, can I use my husband's androgel and we just run through it faster? You know, that kind of thing. There's nothing really out there for women yet. Okay, now you can get it from someone who, like me. Okay, and you can get it from, if you ask your doctor, that the way that we used to prescribe testosterone, and it was real testosterone, we would put it in white petroleum jelly, and we would say use a pea size on the genitalia. Okay, so testosterone for women has been available. It has to be compounded. It used to be compounded at CVS, but I doubt they do that anymore. But that's a formulation that older physicians would be familiar with. Okay. There are differences between the hormones, and that's way too long a subject to get into. The biggest difference, I think, is that if you're working with someone who does bioidenticals, you're going to get estradiol, which is the strongest estrogen, usually in a 20% solution, and you're going to get 80% estriol, which is the anti-cancer one. So you're going to get an 80-20, it would be called biest. Okay? You cannot get that combination of hormones from big pharma. The only thing you can get is the estradiol. So you don't get the estriol, which is the anti-cancer friendly estrogen that helps to blunt the bad effects of the estradiol. And physicians like me who have been practicing for, I mean, I've been doing this for about 20 years. There are physicians now who have been doing this for close on to 60 years. I mean, there are people in their 80s who are prescribing bioidenticals. Jonathan Wright is in his 80s. He is the father of bioidentical hormones. He hardly ever sees breast cancer in women. Hardly ever sees it. And am I naive enough to say, oh, it's the bioidenticals? No. No. If you're going to an integrated physician, we're not just giving you your bioidentical hormones. We're saying, and what do you put in your mouth? And how are you cleansing? And how are you managing your stress? And are you getting a good 8 hours worth of sleep? Are you getting enough sex? Do you enjoy your relationships? Do you laugh enough? Those kinds of things. I mean, we're trying to take it up very, very holistically. And I think that is also the power of taking a holistic approach to your health, is that it can make humongous differences later in life. Okay? Is that helpful?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would any of the natural supplements that you mentioned in your article be good to try?
The only one that I would try, and I would find out what your testosterone level is first, okay? The only one that I would try to raise your testosterone levels, and there are other ones out there, I'm sure, would be maca, because that tends to raise testosterone. And I would try DHEA. 5 to 10 milligrams of DHEA would be very, very safe for you to take, because DHEA, for the most part, is made into testosterone in women's bodies. And so you're still working with a high SHBG, okay? So some of it's still going to get bound, but you could push your testosterone levels higher. And I would take it, and I would try it for 2 months. Okay, you're not going to notice a difference in a couple of days. You're not going to notice a difference in a week or two. Give it at least 2 months, because it takes, when you introduce a hormone, it takes about 2 months for not just that hormone to saturate the tissues, but also for everybody else that's here, all the other hormones and all the other chemicals that are in your body say, oh my gosh, there's more testosterone here. Okay, well, let's juggle things a little bit because there's testosterone. So it takes about 2 months for things to kind of settle out. Now, you see that in general practice, in that physicians will say, you're not really going to know what it's like to be on the birth control pill until the 3rd month. Same thing. They're saying it's going to take 2 months for everything to settle out. Did you have a question? Oh, come on, I know you do. Talk about aging, okay?
I was thinking about the DHEA.
Mhm.
I'm supposed to be taking that and normally feel better when I do, but does it cause constipation?
Typically, no. Typically, no. Now, the main side effects of DHEA are, have you seen, I haven't seen any constipation. This is Tina Airy. If y'all have questions about aromatherapy, she's the aromatherapy person, she's the reflexology person. She put together those parts of the article. I haven't seen anybody who had constipation with DHEA. No, yeah, just haven't seen that. No, the most what you watch for when you take DHEA, you watch for a greasy scalp. Okay, most of us, if we're a little bit older, we have not had a greasy scalp since we were in our teens. All right, and so if you start getting a greasy scalp, just back off on it. Don't stop it. It means cut back to maybe 5 days a week instead of 7 days a week. Stop it for a few days, get rid of the greasy scalp, then resume it at a slightly lower dose. But somewhere between 5 and 10 milligrams should begin raising your testosterone. And if you feel better on it, all right, part of that is because it's DHEA. And DHEA balances out cortisol in your body. So if your body makes too much cortisol or if it makes too little cortisol, DHEA helps to balance that out, okay? That doesn't mean you can't benefit from taking some other adrenal supplements that would help to enhance and what are called adrenal adaptogens. They are herbs, excuse me. I think I got rid of it. There are herbs that help adrenal glands function better. And usually you get byproducts that have 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 different herbs in them. And what they do is if your cortisol production is too high, it brings it down. If your cortisol production is too low later in the day, it brings it up. So that's why it's called an adaptogen. It helps your body adapt better. And those can also be very helpful. If you feel better on DHEA, you may feel a lot better also with an adrenal adaptogen.
Is that a
Hold on for a second.
prescription?
Hold on for a second. No,
Oh,
those are you buy those in health food stores.
Okay.
Yeah. The other thing with DHEA is, and so what are the side effects if you get too much testosterone in your system? Say you go on DHEA, okay, and how do you know if you have too much? Well, if you start getting more of a mustache, hello.
How you doing, little lady?
That's okay. You're here to talk about sex.
Yes.
Great. Come down the front row.
Which restaurant?
If you get too much testosterone in your system, whether it is from a masculinizing birth control pill, whether it is because you go through menopause and your estrogen levels drop off and your adrenal glands continue to produce testosterone for several years, that's typical. Or whether it's because you're taking too much DHEA, or you are taking too much testosterone, or it's because you have problems with insulin and you have polycystic ovary syndrome, which is the most common way that women will have it, and you start getting hairy. You start getting more sideburns, more facial hair, more of a mustache. You may start losing hair on the top of your head because you have too much testosterone or too much of some other androgen related to DHEA. The other thing that can happen is you can start getting acne in the same area that a man gets a beard. Not typically on your forehead, but down to here. All of that would point to, all right, problems with too much androgens. So that would be a reason to cut back. But if you really feel good on it and you really don't want to cut back, then you add some saw palmetto. And saw palmetto is used for men's prostates, okay? But it also blocks the conversion of testosterone into a stronger androgen in those women's bodies who break it down in that pathway. And that'll stop it. It'll stop the hair loss, it'll stop the hair growth, it'll get rid of the acne. So it works very, very nicely. Now, is there a drug that you could use? Because you have great prescription benefits. Propecia. So that's advertised on TV, and they say, women should not touch this, should not come into the same room with it, like it's gonna, do something bad in the air. So, I've got to be really good since this guy just got here. Okay. But the saw palmetto can be very, very helpful, and it and Propecia work the same way. Proscar works the same way. All right. And so basically, you just run the numbers and you see which way is going to be the least expensive way to take it. Everyone, write this down. There is a website called GoodRx.com, and GoodRx, you need to know about it because if your insurance will not pay for a prescription, if it's too expensive, or if your copay is too high, or if you go to the drugstore and you've been on something forever and a day and all of a sudden it costs $100 more than it used to, which is happening more and more, and that's because of corporate greed, and I'll come back to that in a minute. You can go to GoodRx, put in the prescription, put in the strength, put in the number of pills, put in your zip code, and you will be told where is the least expensive place you can buy this if you print out a coupon. So, Armour Thyroid, for example, that I prescribe for lots of people, all right, because it's natural, it's a glandular, it has T3 and it has T4 in it, and it works much better than Synthroid or Levoxyl for many people. And Armour was bought by somebody, it's gone up twice now, so I'm switching everybody over to NatureThroid, which is also a glandular, which is also just as good as Armour. In fact, it's a little bit more potent, a little bit stronger. But I could go out and see, okay, where could someone get, instead of the script costing $68 for Armour, I could get it down to $42, or in some places $25. So you can save a lot of money. The other thing that I will tell you is, like I said, it's corporate greed that's driving up the price of some of these drugs that have been around forever that are generics and should be $4 drugs, and they're not $4 drugs anymore. If you go someplace to fill a prescription and all of a sudden it is much more expensive than you have ever paid before, do not reward the bastards. Don't buy it. Call your doctor and say the price has jumped from this to this. Physicians do not know that this is going on. You have to be the early warning system and let the physicians know that this is happening. So do that, because that will help change the physician's prescribing ways, and maybe they will look into why this is happening. And there is a congressional committee that's looking into it. Okay, as we get older, the men will have more problems because their testosterone will be dropping down. And most men, at some point, will have to use something to help raise their testosterone levels. And there are a number of different supplements, and I love the one called horny goatweed. There are a number of them. We have combinations of them over there, and I can't remember all the specific ones. But what they do is they are working on your dopamine and your norepinephrine, and they're working on your testosterone levels, and they're helping to reduce the level of your sex hormone binding globulin, so your body sees more testosterone. Okay, is this interesting to you all? Yes. Okay. All right. If any man is out there who is having trouble with erectile dysfunction, and Viagra, Cialis, Levitra just doesn't work. These couples are happy on TV, but it just doesn't work for you. That's because your testosterone is low. They're not going to work if you don't have sufficient amounts of testosterone. And if you have gone to your doctor, hold on, if you've gone to your doctor and you've got a testosterone level, and your doctor said, well, it's kind of low, but it's within the reference range. You get up on your high horse and you say, how tall are you?
5'8.5".
How tall do you used to be?
5'9".
5'9". You can say, I'm 5'9". I need more testosterone than that. The taller you are, okay, so your height reflects how much testosterone and how much growth hormone you were exposed to when you went through puberty. So taller men, 6 feet, 6'1", 6'2", 6'3", had very high testosterone levels, up over 1,000 when they were younger. You may well need a testosterone, if you were that high, you may well need a testosterone level of 700, 800, 900 in order to feel manly, in